All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody for jumping on with us, man. Had to back things up a little bit with the LSU game. Shout out to LA Tigers getting it done. Big time win versus Tennessee. Another recap: we had Southern was playing as well. They had taken Jackson State down to the wire. But shout out to LA Tigers for getting it done. Had an eventful night, man. Sellout crowd, broke the attendance record. So hats off to Kim Mulkey, her staff, and everything that they got going on over there. I'm sure there's some people that were in attendance, man. Anybody that was at the game, man, comment below. Let us know how it was. It looked amazing on the TV today. But nonetheless, man, Coach Kendrick, man, how you doing tonight, my guy?
Good, man. Trying to stay dry and warm up north, man. How about down there?
Hey, same, man. We know we got a little bit of weather. I know the Baton Rouge area got really soaked. So it's not too bad over here in New Orleans, but Baton Rouge area was pretty well soaked, and hopefully everyone's doing fine with all that. But big couple of things we're gonna kind of go over today. Gonna dive into the district matchups, man. But anybody that's watching, man, if y'all can comment below, let us know what some big time matchups you got going on. Let us know how the stream's going. How's the connectivity? You got any feedback or anything? Is it slow? Let us know. But the LHSA site was down a little bit earlier, so I couldn't pull up any big time matchups. So if you guys can comment below, let us know. Tag any of your friends. Let them know we're live. We're live both on Facebook as well as YouTube. Like we said last time, I believe we had over 100 comments. So the more people are commenting, the more we'll kind of get this thing rolling. So you guys can click that share button, like the page, like the platform, help us continue to grow this, keep it going. What's some big time matches we got going? Tomorrow night, Voyles at Menard. Definitely going to be a good one for sure. Fairview, Northside Christian. So, yeah, comment below, guys. Let us know. We're going to dive into it. Not going to update the top 25 this time just because the LHS site was down. We were trying to do our homework. But we're going to focus more on the districts and the potential matchups as well as the PowerPoints. So I'll go ahead and pull that up. We'll go through it kind of briefly. Again, guys, you guys can comment below. Not putting anything on anybody as far as putting teams down. We're just going off of our opinion. Some teams that we think that have the ability to win some of these districts. And the big thing that is important for this is whoever wins these districts get a full PowerPoint increase when it comes time to the official playoffs, right? So as we're going through the playoffs, we're using GoPreps. GoPreps, shout out to those guys over there doing a great job. They update every 8 hours, so we're using those rankings for our brackets, which we'll go over in a second. But those will never implement the playoff bonus point for winning districts. So that's what we're going to kind of talk about right now. With having 2 weeks before the playoffs roll, I think it's important that we kind of focus on these districts. So, Coach Kendrick, man, nonetheless, man, arguably the toughest district in the state for the last few years here. You're very familiar with District 1-5A. What's your thoughts on District 1-5A as well as 2-5A, which is kind of up in your area as well?
Well, District 1-5A, man, that's the home that's where I resided, like you said, for the past few years, man. And it's tough in that district. It's night in, night out. You got to bring your best game. And right now, man, Parkway's head and shoulders above everybody in that district. That's theirs to lose. I think they got to lose like 4 or 5 to lose the district right now. So, I mean, the district's pretty much wrapped up. They got their on game 10. They got 14 games in their district. So I think they're on game 10 now. They're they're on game 10. And tomorrow will be game 11. So, nobody, everybody, Parkway's the winner there. Out of now, the 2-5A district is going to be interesting.
For sure.
Ruston or Alexandria, maybe?
Yeah,
out of that one.
That's kind of what I'm thinking as well.
Ruston of Alexandria. Alexandria's got that new coach this year doing very well. And so if Ruston, Coach Graff's been there before they won it last year, I believe, and I think it's going to come down to those two out of the district there.
Yep, for sure. And guys, again, you got some comment as well. You can see a lot of the matchups that we have coming on. So just for those people that don't know, the districts vote on how many games they play, whether it's 1 round, 2 rounds. Some districts just play a tournament at the end. Some play 1 round and a tournament. Some play 2 rounds. Some play just 1 round, right? So a lot of these matchups that we're talking about here, Midland at Hathaway, that's going to be a big-time matchup. Great game for sure. Scotlandville versus Southern Lab. Again, very important district matchup on top of some other stuff coming down. So still, Southern Lab getting it inside of the district, right? So Scotlandville's got a tough district, but they're still getting in some tough games. Hicks, Anacoco, so appreciate everybody for commenting, guys. Let us know any of the big-time matchups you guys see, as well as maybe some teams that you think can win their district in this 5A. We're going to go over 5A and 4A, and then we'll jump into the Division 1, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So for those that don't know, 4A is kind of a little jungled up with 5A into the divisions. So I definitely agree with those top 2 divisions. I mean, those 2 districts. Looks like Barb's going to win District 3 5A. Even though they did drop that 1 game to Acadiana, they ended up beating Lafayette, so I think they'll get the head-to-head advantage there. District 4 5A is going to be wide open. I like Liberty, like Scotlandville, and Zachary, of course. So it's going to be really important there, I believe. Again,
Liberty just beat
on
Zachary.
One side and Zachary's on the other. Go ahead.
Correct. Liberty just beat Zachary, correct?
I do not know. Again, the LHSA site was down on me on that.
They beat Zachary the other night, if I'm not mistaken. Liberty did. Okay. Yeah, Coach Clay reached out to me and we were talking about it.
I mean, that's even more implication. So then that Scotlandville versus Liberty game is going to be important, and it's also going to be kind of interesting to see if these teams elect to play a game if they're tied, so as far as like tiebreakers and stuff like that. So it's just interesting to kind of break it down and start talking about the district PowerPoint.
I would reckon they have to, right, to see who get that PowerPoint, right?
You can flip a coin if you elect. You can elect to flip a coin. So or sometimes people just give it up. Yeah. So there's a lot of different options. So for those that don't know,
no way I'm flipping a coin.
Yeah, but you may not need the point. So, but for those that don't know, LHSA met last Thursday and Friday. They voted on coming back together for the playoffs, which was tabled until the summer. So they'll vote on that later. So we're going to go like we've been doing. The division brackets will stay the same. So the playoffs will stay how it was for football. The district point is in play this year. It was also voted down again. Very close, though. It was like a 3 or 4 point difference. But it was voted down again. So we'll have the PowerPoint for district again next year. So I think that's why it's important to kind of talk about this. But, yeah, it looks like Liberty beat Zachary 64-49. Yep, and then it's confirmed.
By 15.
The website is back up and working. So that's an important game. I know now Zachary and Scotlandville play next Tuesday. So, yeah, it's going to be important. So it's going to be really interesting as we're coming down to the kind of this last little 2 weeks here. Whoever gets that full PowerPoint is going to be shaking some things up for sure. Moving down to District 5, 5A, correct. You got probably, Walker win that one. District 6, 5A. Ponchatoula will likely win that. 7,
Ponchatoula.
I'm going to go East St. John. 8, 5A, I could see Chalmette, West Jet.
Chalmette with Kofi back, right?
I heard she's not playing, so I heard she's back at school. I haven't heard she's playing yet. If anybody can confirm if Taryn Cofield is playing. I'm not sure if they're waiting on an eligibility ruling or what. I would be interested to see if she is playing. I don't think she is playing, though. But if anybody has seen her play, that would be great news to kind of know. Same thing like Lafayette. Lafayette adding the volleyball player back is huge. If the Chalmette can add Gofield back, that'd be huge. But one of those two teams are going to come out on top. And with that being said, like Chalmette at like the 10 seed, I believe, right now. So that would be a huge jump for them. So it's kind of interesting. You got to keep an eye on these teams that are in the 10 to 14, 15 range. If they're the ones that win district, that's a full PowerPoint. That's huge. And then the last district, 5A, of course, would be John Curtis. Let's move on to 4A. You guys comment below, man. Let us know. Appreciate everybody. Tag some people. Let us know as well. Comment any big time matchups we have coming up as well. Coach, what you think about some of these 4A districts here? I know you really like Huntington. What you think about Huntington and that other district?
Yeah, Huntington's got 1-4-8 wrapped up right now already. They goes back to what you're saying, where 1-5-8 voted to keep 2. We voted last year in our coaches meeting to keep 2 rounds. Well, District 1-4-8, they voted to go to 1 round.
Wow.
And so they're only going to do 1 round, and so Huntington's got that district wrapped up. They'll get the full PowerPoint there. That's going to be key for them because they're sitting at 6 right now in the power rankings. Can they jump to 5? Can they jump to 4 and get into that, top 4? It's going to be key for them and Coach Shine. And Franklin Parish, if I'm not mistaken, Franklin Parish is going to win the 4A. They've come out of nowhere this year. Oh, did they? I'm not. Let me check.
Yes, I mean,
I'm not sure if they did.
Yeah, it's good to at least like we're having that dialogue and we're talking about it. I think it's important for everybody else to understand as well how important this full PowerPoint is. And I think that's another reason why a lot of the coaches don't really like it. I mean, of course, it's way more difficult with having the classes versus the divisions and keeping up with it that way. But it just adds a lot of uncertainty, right? So you have Huntington who's sitting a little bit on the outside. I think they even fell down to 6. If they're able to win their district and some of the teams above them aren't, that's a full PowerPoint that we're looking at. That can really jump them up there. Moving down to the next district, you got LaGrange. LaGrange's going to win that one pretty easily.
Correct.
LCA, of course, will win 4A. I don't know about 5-4A. Maybe Opelousas. I'm not sure about those teams over there.
Yeah, they've been running that district lately. I know they got a new coach. Coach is out, but they should win that district easy.
Let's see. Who else? Again, guys, comment below, man. Let us know any of the top matchups we have coming up in this next week or two, especially with these district matchups. Let us know any upsets that we had. Again, like the Zachary and Liberty game was a good game. The LHS site was down earlier. It looks like it's back up, so we're trying to catch back up on everything. Tag your friends, man. Let us know. We're live on Facebook as well as YouTube, so appreciate all the people that are joining us. Click the share button as well. Let's see. What else we got?
And so I'm sorry, Chris. So it looks like Peabody beat Franklin Parish the first game. Looks like they got another round, and that could come down to either a split or Franklin Parish outright.
Again, so
Peabody outright. Peabody outright.
If Franklin Parish beats, and that game's at Franklin Parish, that's the last game of the season on that Friday.
Correct.
If they play, if Franklin Parish beats Peabody, again, they could have to turn around and play on Saturday to break it, or they could flip a coin, which is going to be interesting to
see.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Mr. Paul, great question here. Barb beat Lafayette. Acadiana beat Barb. Lafayette plays Acadiana. If there's a 3-way tie, who gets the point? So I think with that one, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that would be a 3-way tie. I think Acadiana would have 2 losses, or would they have 1? If it's a 3-way tie, I think you got to go to. Each district has their own rules, right? But at the end of the day, you can go into a playoff, or whoever is in the quote-unquote tie, they could, like I said, elect to play the game, or they can flip a coin. And that's where a lot of this gets really dicey. I'll be completely honest with everybody watching. It's a lot of politics involved because sometimes whenever you're not playing, like Amite and Albany are not playing in the same playoff bracket. If there's a tie in that, whoever needs the playoff point more to hold on to the 1 seed, they're just going to give it to them. I mean, let's be honest. They're not going to play that game on Saturday when they got to turn around and play in the playoffs 3 days later,
Correct.
right? So, I mean, that just is what it is. And I think that's the reason why a lot of the coaches wanted to have the point go away. I think it missed by like 5 votes. But, Paul, I don't know the answer to that question. I will definitely try to find the answer out.
Well, it looks like Arcadiana is in first right now. They're 4-0 in that district. So if his scenario there would be a 3-way tie if Lafayette beats Arcadiana.
And it might go to like point differential or something like that. Like that's what I would imagine happens. But some of these districts, they change so often that they don't even have a full, I guess, rule book. I guess is the easy way to explain it. They don't even have something that where you can easily fall back on. But nonetheless, next 6-4A. That's a good question. I'm gonna reach out to Barb's coach and see if they have anything. 6-4A.
Wow.
I think that's going to be brutally for sure. West Feliciana may be able to compete with them. That would actually be interesting if West Feliciana wins that. 7-4A. You got Ellender. Vanderbilt Catholic is obviously the favorite, but Ellender, they're off to a hot start. I think they won like 5 in a row. That'd be interesting if Ellender could sneak up on Vanderbilt Catholic. They could really jump out of that 15 seed. Ellender's still in the 15 seed. I looked at it early today. That full point could get them into the 10, 11, 12 range. That'd be interesting for sure. What about this other one? I mean, maybe LaRange. I like what Coach John's doing over there with Hannon. Shout out to him and that program over there. They're playing really good basketball. LaRange with Mayan back, Salmon. That district's kind of wide open, actually. That's going to be interesting. Whoever wins that district is not ranked very high. So whoever wins that 8-4-8 district is going to make a huge jump. 9-4A, I would lean towards De La Salle. Again, they're not ranked the highest.
De La Salle.
But I would assume they would win that. Again, that would give them a huge jump. 10-4A, absolutely no clue. Maybe Bell Chase.
No clue.
Maybe Bell Chase is the favorite there. Again, whoever wins that district's going to take a huge jump. 11-4A, man, shout out to Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin is playing really good basketball. They beat Warren Easton, so they're obviously the favorite to win that. Go ahead.
And they do 1 round or 2 rounds there, Chris?
I don't know. That's a good question. But Ben Franklin's playing some good basketball, man. They're rocking and rolling. Again, guys, appreciate everybody for joining us. Comment below. Let us know any big-time matches we got coming up. Rose Pine over a good Gibson Coleman team. Wow, that's a huge win for Rose Pine, 47-25. After being 19-19 at halftime. Held them 6 points in the second half. Wow. Acadiana has no – I'm trying to catch up on the comments, guys. We'll go ahead and jump into the top half of the bracket. Again, we just want to kind of get people talking about and let you think about the district point, which is very important. I don't think we are really thinking about that as fans. You know, coaches, of course, are thinking about that. But I think it's important as fans to think about that as well, as this can really shake up the system we're looking at right here.
Rankings.
For example, 13 is East St. John's. They win district. They could get all the way up to like 10, 9 maybe even. You know, it's a huge jump. Let's see. I'm trying to catch them on the comments. Go ahead and talk a little bit about the top half of Division I for us.
Yeah, man. Listen, you got Walker, who's clearly the favorite in the top half. And all roads got to go through Walker there in the top half, bro. Zachary, of course, sitting at 4. Again, that district, you know, they get a point. Can they catch Barb at 3? I'm not sure they can. I know they can't catch Parkway at 2. You know what I mean? So there's that district point, you know. And then you got East St. John's sitting at 13, like you just said. So I think in the top half, it's understood that in this bracket, top half, all roads lead through Corey, Arnold, and Walker there in Walker, Louisiana.
Yeah, so again, going back to Mr. Paul's point here, who wins the district in a 3-way tie? So you got Barb, who is at 44. You know, Zachary lost that game the other night, so they may not get the point. It may not matter, but if let's say they do get the point, that makes that 3 and 4 a lot closer, right? So that's why the kind of point is a little important. Ponchatoula is sitting at 6, and they are 39.75. So if they were to get the point, they would jump up to the 5 seed. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about this point and how important it is. But nonetheless, man, this is definitely some good basketball, some good conversation to at least be had, man. A matchup that I really would look forward to here is that Dutchtown Airline game. I think that would be a good game. I think it's a long way to travel for Airline. But I think that's a good game. And then Dutchtown versus Denham in the second round, man.
That's actually
I think that could go any way.
Yeah, the Airline and Dutchtown is actually a rematch if it happens.
Oh, really?
I think Airline
Dutchtown came up there?
Yeah, they played in some tournament. I can't remember what tournament they played in earlier this year. I can't remember who won it. I want to say Airline won it, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to check the record here,
Yeah,
but I know they've already.
That'd be a good one for sure. Zachary East St. John would be a good one. That'd be a rematch of our Pelican State game, actually, which was a really good game. I think Zachary's playing some good basketball right now. Even with that loss there, I think they are playing some good basketball, getting the young kids kind of rocking and rolling. East St. John's got the experience edge on them, I would say, overall. So that'd be a good matchup. Man, a lot of really good matchups. It's going to be interesting with that play.
Yeah. Airline and Dutchtown played on the 22nd of November, and Dutchtown won by 55-54.
Yeah, so
it's going to be a good game.
that's what I'm talking about. So you got Dutchtown and Airline in the first round, and whoever wins that game would give Denham a run for their money for sure. Like, no offense to Denham. Denham's done a great job winning every game they're supposed to, but that is just goes to show you how tough these games are all the way down the line. Dutchtown beat Airline. Yep. So that's awesome, man. That's really cool to see for sure. So the biggest thing on the bottom half to kind of keep an eye on it is where's Ponchatoula going to land, right? So I think
that's the key.
Obviously, Ponchatoula wants to get away from Walker. Walker wants to get away from Ponchatoula. Let's be honest. I mean, don't really want to see them in the quarterfinals. Neither one of those teams want to see each other in the quarterfinals. And I think we've been talking about it. Nobody really wants to see Ponchatoula in the quarterfinals. So can they jump Denham? Maybe even Zachary. I don't know. I mean, if Zachary doesn't get the PowerPoint full point, I think Ponchatoula might can even jump him. What's your thoughts?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It goes to this. Does Coach Patricia even want that point right now? At this point, I don't know. As you're just saying, I think if I'm the 6th seed, I'm looking, is my road better through Parkway or my road better through Walker? I think I want to stay in that 6th seed and have to come up, go through Parkway instead. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So you're looking at, of course, she's not going to throw any games on. We're not suggesting that, but she gets that point. Like you said, she could get up to 5. Can she catch Zachary at 4? I'm not sure. So, you know what I mean? That point is going to come into play here. It's big.
And how fun would that be to see Parkway versus Ponchatoula match the state championship game? Man, that would be friggin' like in the semifinals or even the quarterfinals. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Some other matchups. Again, I like Chalmette, man. Chalmette's playing some really good basketball. I think Chalmette kind of matches up with Natchitoches Central pretty good. They can make a run to the quarters. Who's some other teams that you like to kind of make a run to the quarters in this bottom half that we may not be thinking about?
Well, of course, Barb. You're looking at Barb most likely being in the quarters. You know, still got to play the games. But Natchitoches Central, man, I watched them the other night. I was there when they played Captain Shreve, and Captain Shreve is no doubt getting better, and they're young this year. They fell off. They graduated all those D1 players that they had finally, and but Natchitoches Central is really getting better. And again, don't sleep on Benton. I think she has a tough road here. If she stays at 15 and Parkway sitting at 2, Benton and Holton there, that's a district game. Play each other in the first round. Neither one of those coaches want to do that again. You know what I mean? And so, and then, that it played out like that last year as well. We all had to play each other first round, second round, and possibly third round. It's just because the district's so good. You know what I mean? So having that Benton Halton, I'm sure Coach Jenna and Coach Ward would want to break that game up and not have to play each other and then turn around and play Parkway in the second round.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, again, guys, appreciate everybody for comment, man. We got a good group of people watching. Click the share button for us if you can. Tag some people. Let them know we're live. As well as comment your thoughts, guys. Let us know big time matchups like we talked about. We're talking about the districts. Let us know who you think may win district. Let us know who's some sleepers in each of these divisions. We really appreciate all the comments. That definitely helps us out a lot. Again, I want to go back to East St. John. So we got East St. John at the 13 seed. I think they're going to win district. If they do win district, that could get them as high as a 10 seed, man. So looking at that 10 spot, 11 spot, where 11 plays the 22, and then they play Ponchatoula next round. 10 is going to play Russ, and they could it could be Natchitoches Central versus East St. John second round. I think East St. John is kind of that sleeper that is currently ranked 13th. They were 15th before that. It's kind of a sleeper, man. I think East St. John's got that kind of runway where they can kind of take off, get into that quarterfinals.
Wouldn't you want to see that game, Jazz versus Michaela in the quarterfinals? I think that you get your popcorn ready for that one, right?
That'd be a good one, man. I would like to see if you're giving me an option to pick. All right, give me an option to pick. I'm saying I'll take Parkway versus Ponchatoula in the quarterfinals at Parkway. I think that would be exciting. Rematch the semifinals. Rematch of the state championship. If you say I can't have that, yeah, I'll take Jazz versus Michaela. That would be amazing. All right, let's move on to Division 1 on the select side. Again, guys, let's keep in mind the district points and how they can kind of throw some things around. What's your thoughts, man? Top half here. Warren Easton is interesting. They're kind of up and down, so I think they always do figure it out come playoff time. When they find a way to get to the top 28, it's going to be a lot harder road this year. What's your thoughts on the top half of this bracket here?
Yeah, we hadn't really talked about Scotlandville. Of course, we know John Curtis is going to do what John Curtis do every year and find a way. You know what I mean? But Acadiana, we were just talking about them in that district with Barb. District 358. They could be a sleeper there. They could make some noise, especially if they perhaps win out in district. You're looking at Acadiana probably moving up with the district point.
Yeah, Acadiana would move up to the 6th seed with the district point.
You see what I'm saying? So Acadiana might not even be in the top part this come next week. You know what I mean, or the end of the season. So I from the get go, man, I really liked it. From what I saw last summer with Karen Crow, I really liked them. They gave us everything we could handle. That point guard, those two bigs, I really like what they had. I know the point guard was out some this year, but I think if they could get healthy, man, they could probably upset Scotlandville at the 4 in the second round and make some noise in the quarters and maybe even beat a Warren Easton. And we're looking at a Karen Crow in the semis.
Yeah, that's not a bad dark horse for sure, especially how stacked this division is. In the top 10, you know what I'm saying? The top 10 is pretty heavy. So a Karen Crow, who is arguably a top 10 team, that's definitely a good point. I definitely agree with that. This is some really good games for sure. It's going to come down. Looking at this, you got John Curtis can win their district. Lafayette can win their district. Scotlandville can win their district. Easton or Ben Franklin, one of those will win their district. Huntington's going to win their district. So 6 of the top 7 teams have the opportunity to win their district. So it's going to be interesting. This one could kind of get jumbled around throughout the next week or two, especially as tough as Scotlandville's district is. They could fly up. They could be in the top 2 or 3, especially if Lafayette, St. Thomas More don't get that point, and they end up getting it and winning through some of those big-time games. They got Scotlandville. I have Southern Lab coming up as well. It's going to be interesting, man. It's definitely a fun little top 4 right there.
And it goes back to what we were discussing with Mr. Paul earlier was you got Acadiana and Barb are in 2, you get what I'm saying, 2 different divisions. Barb's in non-select, Acadiana's in. So if it's a 3-way tie, do they play it? No, I don't think they just flip a coin and just say who needs it more. You know what I mean? So That's interesting there.
Yep. I mean, you got St. Thomas More, and they are in the Division 1 playing against LCA, who's in Division 2. So I mean, LCA beat them. Again, it's just a little bit of madness right now with the divisions in the point, but it is what it is nonetheless. It makes it interesting for sure. It's definitely going to keep me on my toes, and we're going to be locked and loaded in this thing all the way down to the last game, literally, with the PowerPoint system. But what's your thoughts, man, on the bottom? I already talked about Ben Franklin. I think Ben Franklin is pretty sneaky at the 6, where they'll probably get that point. They could jump into the 5. There are a team that made it to the top 28 for the first time in school history last year. Shout out to Jada. She's over at Loyola. She had a great career at Ben Franklin. We kind of assumed that they would fall off a little bit, but the team's rocking and rolling, man. So they do have the experience that they need to get to that top 28 quarterfinal experience as well. I think Ben Franklin is a sleeper. Liberty with the ability to beat really anybody in the top 10, and they're at the 10 seed. That is not somebody I want to see. Their point guard Jefferson was out for a few games, so they dropped a few games. She's back. Whitney Hart's playing really well. Liberty versus Huntington, second round. That's tough. Like, that is a tough draw. I mean, I like Ash too. Ash is playing really well. I could see some, like you already talked about, Karen Crow upsetting some people. We could see some multiple double-digit seeds in the quarterfinals, where it's only supposed to be the top 8. We could see multiple double-digit seeds. What's your thoughts, man, here on this?
And it's going to be interesting. I think the one thing that we got to keep eye on here, and it's going to make a difference, I think, is the Ben Franklin Huntington. Okay, because Ben Franklin's 6 and Huntington is 7, but they're only 0.4 of a point behind. And again, we're talking about it. We're stressing it tonight. That district point. Huntington may be the only, good game they got left on their schedule is Northwood Shreveport. It's got those 14 wins. Can they, jump Ben Franklin and then get that point to get to 5? So that's the race for 5 there. Ben Franklin and Huntington. So, because like I said, I don't think Easton's going to may not win that district. So, I think that's going to be interesting there. I don't know, Captain Shreve, last Friday night. They're young, but I think they could possibly give Liberty a run for their money. So you got championship coaches on the sideline that can make a difference. So don't sleep on Shreve just yet. You know what I mean?
Yep, I think it goes back to where the committee decided to split these things up. These games are more competitive in the first round, and from my experience at Ursuline, it was hard for us to get people to show up to the first round game because they just knew we were going to win by 30 or 40 points, and we'll see you second round, coach, or we might see you in the quarterfinals. Like we know y'all going to get there. If Liberty doesn't show up against Captain Shreve and the fans don't show up and they're not ready to rock and roll, you can see upsets. You can see upsets in the first round all the way down this thing. I think that is definitely something to keep an eye on. St. Joseph versus Ash, like a lot of these teams where you should be getting 2 home playoff games and you're just on cruise control first round, man, you might as well put yourself on upset alert. Like, this is going to be interesting.
And Chris, I've talked to some folks over at Huntington, talk to them all the time, and I think they're thinking. I know if I'm a coach, wherever St. Thomas More is, that's where I want to be if I'm Huntington. So you know what I mean?
Yep.
That game I think would be interesting in the in the quarterfinals there to a chance to go to the top 28. I think that's the road if I was Huntington that I would want.
Yeah, the lesser of the top 4 seeds. If you're going to have to go into somebody's place honestly, Huntington wants to find a way into the top 4. But if they can't, I agree with that as well. It's going to be fun, man. You got in the quarters, arguably, you got Warren Easton at Scotlandville. You got Ben Franklin at Lafayette. You got Huntington at St. Thomas More. And then district opponent, Dominican at John Curtis. Who knows? Honestly, I could see those going either way, all 4 of those games. I think that's really good matchups, kind of all the way down the line. I think you could see a couple upsets. would not shock me one bit. So again, that just goes to show, man, how interesting these matchups are going to be. And I think the committee got it right with the split, and I think we're going to have some good games because of it.
I was just going to say that. Who could argue with this setup, man? You know, when we were told we were going to it, you know, I was loving it because, you know, I loved that, you know, I wouldn't have to play Parkway a third time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it really has made for some good matchups from round 1 all the way to the top 28. And, you know, like you said, you know, we had Mandeville come up last year and couldn't get anybody in the gym for a first round matchup. We ended up winning by 30 points. You know what I mean? So I think now it's going to make it very interesting from the first game.
Yep.
February 16th.
I agree. Man, let's jump into the next division, which is mostly Division 2, which is some 4A, but mostly 3A. So we'll jump into the first district, 1 3A. That's going to be Wasserman for sure. I'm assuming they'll be Union Parish. Should be interesting to see how Union Parish competes against them. I'm not sure if they've played that game. Check that one out. See if you can see when that game is. District 2 3A, I'm going to lean towards Bolton, but I could see some of these other teams competing for sure. District 3 3A, I know St. Louis Catholic took down Southbow in a dogfight. Shout out to Paris Guillory in the game she had that night. If anybody's listening, man, type up her stats so we can put those up there. She had a hell of a night. District 4 3A, I like a lot of teams. I think that's going to be an interesting one there. Iota's playing well right now. Church Point, Northwest, of course, has always kind of really played well at that point in the season. That could go kind of either way there. I think that would be interesting to keep an eye on. 5 3A, I'm not sure on that. Maybe Abbeville. I know Abbeville's young. I'll do a little more research on that one. 6 3A. Again, that's a fun one there where you got Doyle, Glen Oaks, Prep. Not sure what's going on over there. Parkway Baptist is playing well. That's going to be a fun one. 7 3A is where we talked about. You got Albany, who's number 1 in Division 2. A-Meet's number 1, Division 3. That game is, I believe, next Friday. Anybody's watched from Albany A-Meet, let us know when that game is. 8 3A. Again, a very interesting one. Probably Edie White's the favorite there. They're not ranked extremely high, so giving them a 4 points is going to be huge. Go ahead.
Albany A-Meet tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Wow, that's going to be a good one. I might have to try to see if I can get out there.
Yeah, Union Parish and Wasserman is tomorrow night as well.
Wow. So that's 2 really big, crucial games for sure. So I might try to see if I can get out there tomorrow to that A-Meet Albany game. That's going to be a good one. Definitely, it's interesting. So this little division here, this 3A has got some interesting little matchups. 9 3A, last one, is going to be Sacred Heart New Orleans is going to win that one. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Top half of the Division 2 bracket. Again, Albany A-Meet. If Albany wins that game, what in the world are they going to do with that district point? I'm assuming they're not going to play again on that Saturday just to figure out who gets the point. But if you don't and you let Wasserman get the point, then Wasserman could arguably jump them for the 1 seed. Is that important? It's just a lot of stuff that goes into it. Nonetheless, man, what's your thoughts here? Who's some teams that kind of stick out to you in this top half of this bracket?
Well, you got Bastrop there. They got Wasserman the last game of their season, I believe. They may have another one. So it's going to be interesting there what they do. Coach, they got to, I think, maybe the semifinals or to the championship game last year, didn't they? Bastrop.
Yep.
And so lost a lot. Carroll's a sleeper there. He's got that good guard. He's got some guards, kids to go around him. So it's going to be interesting. But I think, the heavy fate. Well, let me back up. I'm sorry. Because I didn't see the bottom half of this screen, and now I see who's sitting at 5. And I know we would you know what I mean? So I could see, I told him earlier this season, man, Coach Holmes, man, I said, man, if you could get this team to the semifinals, that would be major And I think it would be a better feat than what he did when he had those girls and he won it, back to back. Because this team is definitely not as talented as those two teams were, but they've been playing some good ball, and he's really got them bought in. So he's really got them believing. And I told him that early, and he agreed that if he can get this team, which having to go to South Bowl there at 4 in the quarter is going to be an interesting game in South Bowl.
But now again, it goes back to LaGrange's going to get the district point. Their district is not as good as South Bow, so they may fall a little bit in the power rankings, but they may end up being. LaGrange might could jump them with that point
at
to
5.
Get to that 4. And then if West Feliciana wins their district, they might can jump up there as well. So it's still in the making for sure.
It's still in the making there. Still in the making. So yeah, so LaGrange is a sleeper there, so don't sleep on Coach Holmes and LaGrange there. And there you go in that bottom half. I think Wiseman favored out that bottom half.
For sure, man. Who's some sleepers I see in the top half? I think you talk about Bachelor. That's a good one. Carroll, double-digit seed for sure. I agree with all those. Bottom half, double-digit seed that can make some noise again. Laranja, happy for Mayan. She's back playing over there, so that's not somebody you want to see. One of the top 10 players in the state, regardless really of classification. Not somebody you want to see in the second round, first round of the playoffs.
Listen, you got there it is. Franklin Parish sitting there at 11. West Feliciana. I don't know. I haven't seen them, but that's going to be an interesting matchup at the second round there to see who goes to the quarters to play possibly Bruisley. You see what I'm saying? So that game there, the 11-22-6, keep an eye on West Feliciana and Franklin Parish, man. That's going to be an interesting one to see who gets to the quarterfinals. I like that matchup right there.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Bruley's Tia Anderson scoring her 2,000-point senior 2023 over there. Stretch forward, one of the best shooters in the state. So shout out to her and coaches over there getting that done. So I mean they're rocking and rolling. Again, they're playing West Feliciana in district, so we'll be able to see kind of who's who and who's what with that 3-6 matchup there. Bottom half, again, Ellender's they're on like a 5-game win streak. They will play Vanderbilt Catholic for what looks like to be the district title here in the next 2 weeks. If they can kind of get up a little bit higher, they can make some noise so they can get into that 14, 13, 12 area. Again, anything to kind of get away from Wiseman. I think they're a dark horse to make it to the quarterfinals. Who knows? Maybe even the top 28 as a double-digit seed. They are playing some better basketball. You got any more thoughts here on the bottom half?
I think you hit right on it, man. Like I said, it's just going to be interesting basketball. And again, the committee got it right.
Yeah. Again, shout out to Mayan. She scored 1,000-point Laranja last game, man. That's going to be a good one. Definitely do not want to see 1,000-point guard in the first round as a 22 seed. I feel sorry for whoever's got that matchup. You got a bad draw. Much less the second round if they happen to have a home game in the second round. That's going to be interesting.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's the kid that came back, right?
Yep, correct. Yep. Jumping into the select side of things, of course, you got LCA. They're kind of the favorite, of course. I do like Vanderbilt Catholic, been a big favorite of them. They just play so darn hard. St. Louis Catholic, man, playing some good basketball. Like I said, Paris Gillard went bonkers against South Bow. I think it was a huge triple-double. Talked about Hannon a little bit. I like Hannon, what Coach John's doing over there, doing a great job. You see, they're up there all the way with a bye in the first round. So shout out to them, that program that they're kind of building over there. Looks like they'll win that district. What's some other teams that you like kind of in this district, in this division here?
Northside?
Yep,
Northside Peabody. Northside and Peabody is going to be interesting if they can match in the quarterfinals. You know what I mean? That's going to be an interesting matchup to see who gets to. Again, Peabody, it's kind of a team that's been coming on the last few years. You know what I mean? And I think they've really shown the work that they've put in over the last few years to be in the position that they're in now. And to, But you know, you got some. I don't see any double digit seeds here that intrigues me here. Maybe you know because it looks like all of them down your way there.
No, I agree with you. Peabody's going to cruise in the second round. Northside will cruise in the second round. Everybody here, for the most part, kind of cruise in the second round. No real huge double digit
I got you.
seeds. Okay, now I kind of change it up a little bit, change my tune a little bit. Once you get down to the bottom half here, I think Bolton is the one double digit seed that I see that could have a chance to get to the quarterfinals. Again, Bolton's not really a double-digit seed team. They did have those couple forfeits due to some issues at the beginning of the season, so they could arguably be like an 8 seed or something like that. Bolton's gonna be somebody to keep an eye on. Anybody else kind of stick out to you here at the bottom half?
No, De La Salle. Don't give shout out to Coach Mike and what he's got going. Seems like they're there every year. Like I said, they'll probably win their district down there. That's a New Orleans district, right?
Yep.
One of the New Orleans districts. So I think they'll win that, and I think it's gonna all come out to, like I said, St. Louis. That's gonna be interesting. St. Louis and Bolton possibly in the quarters. That's gonna be interesting there.
So I'm looking at De La Salle's schedule, and you're actually really right. They have some really good PowerPoint games coming on here soon, so they could actually jump up to that 6 seed. I don't think they can catch Northside. Northside's 5 points ahead of them, so it's gonna be a little hard, even with the district point.
I got you.
I could really see De La Salle sitting at that 6 seed, which I do like that run a little bit better, assuming that they can avoid Bolton. I think Bolton will get that point, so they'll jump up to the top 10. And then you could see De La Salle versus St. Louis in the quarterfinals. I think that's a pretty good
quarterfinal.
Game. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good game, actually.
Yeah. So it's gonna get interesting in the next 2 weeks, man. It really is. I just can't wait, man, to see what we got down in Hammond. Somebody was asking me the day at school, hey, Coach, you want to go with us somewhere? I said, what's the date? They said March. I said, no, I'll be in Hammond. So yeah.
Heck yeah. Bolton and Bunkie second round, same district. Yeah, that's gonna be that would be interesting if Bunkie and Bolton had to play in the second round, playing district again. But we'll jump into 2A again, guys. Again, let us know, man. Appreciate everybody for watching. We'll roll through these last 3 divisions here. District 2, Class 2A. You're up north with that 1-2A. What is your thoughts on that division? Calvary, maybe?
It's anybody's ball game. It's anybody's ball game. If I'm not mistaken, right now, if I looked at it correctly the other day, Loyola Prep was winning the district so far. But they're not, and neither one of these teams is ranked high, I don't believe. So it's a wide open district, man. The talent pool is down in the district, and I think, I think,
you're right. Loyola Prep is winning, so Loyola Prep's going to get that full point there. And again, that's huge.
Yeah.
Loyola Prep's 17th right now, so they'll get a full point. They could jump up to maybe 2 spots with that point. So Loyola Prep's definitely going to win that one. District 2-2A looks like it's going to be Oak Grove, I would imagine. 3-2A, you saw Lakeview. I think they'll end up winning. Manny's good as well. District 4, 2A, Holy Savior, Menard, Rose Pine. That's probably going to be a good game. Has that game happened yet? Anybody watching? That'd be a good game.
Well, let me actually see. Because that's because Holy Menard is ranked pretty freaking high.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. Harris, who's we sleeping on? Defendant champ, is that Ellender? Can't see that picture. Looks like it's a picture of Ellender there. I definitely agree, man. Ellender has won 5 straight games here lately. If they can, come off to a good finish, and even if they can somehow beat Vanderbilt Catholic and get that full point, I think Ellender can be that one team that has a double-digit seed in that other division that can make a run. Top 28.
I got you.
For finals.
And so Rose Pine beat Holy Menard the first round, but they got to play again next Friday. This Friday. I'm sorry. They play again the second round this Friday. So there it is again. Could have a split district, and then the point, but I think Rose Pine, are they in this? They're in Division 3? Non-select though, right? Yeah, they're in Division 3 non-select, and then Holy Menard is Division 3 select. So there you go.
Correct. Rose Pine might not even need the point.
Correct.
But hey, Holy Saint Menard might not need the point. District 5 2A, I think Lake Arthur, I believe. 6 2A, Dunham. 7 2A, French Settlement, Springfield, St. Thomas Aquinas. That's going to be an interesting one. All three of those teams, either one of those teams could win, and that could really shake some things up. We'll kind of look at that a little bit later. 8 2A, I have no idea. Maybe Catholic New Iberia. Not really sure there. 9 2A will probably be Houma Christian or South Plaque, and then 10 2A will be Newman. But let's jump into these brackets here. So again, a very fun one right here for sure. Again, guys, anybody watching, man, comment below, man. Let us know who you guys are rooting for. Let us know some big time games you guys got coming up. Any thoughts on possible district champs? Who you think could get the point? Some teams we may be sleeping on. Some sleepers to kind of keep an eye on. And most importantly, man, any kind of news you got as far as kids coming back or injuries or anything like that is really beneficial. This next division, man, Division 3. What you like in the top half?
It's gonna be interesting. Like I said, Union Paris doing what they're doing this year. I can see them in a meet being on a collision course. I think that'll be a good game in the semis. Don't see anybody. I don't know what Ville Platte's like. I know they lost a lot. So I don't see anything below there that could probably derail that matchup. Mansfield sitting at 17. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mansfield sitting at 17 against a meet second round. That's gonna be a good game. Mansfield's young, but they defend well.
Yep, for sure. I'm interested to see the Union Parish and kind of what happens with that game versus Wassman, man. And see what's going on. As they're in the same district there, just to kind of see, where they match up. Are they for real? You got Carroll in that district as well. Interested to see that matchup. See how Union Parish matches up with those teams. I haven't seen Union Parish, but to see them go against somebody that we have seen, I think that would kind of tell us a lot. And if Union Parish doesn't win that district again, they could fall. Springfield could win. They could jump them. Royals could win. They could jump them. So this is where it gets interesting in that 4 through 7 area. So Pine beat Springfield earlier in the season. Springfield is rated a little higher. I really like Springfield and their ability to match up with multiple teams. Pine is a team that could make it run to the quarterfinals. I'm not sure when the last time is they made it to the quarterfinals. It has been a while. So shout out to them and that program they got going on over there. Man, let's look at the bottom half. What's your thoughts here on the bottom half?
The bottom half, Coach. Honestly, Coach Kelly, he has Rose Pine looking in a good position right now. I don't think if I'm Coach Kelly, I don't even need the district points. You know what I mean? So I don't think anybody can catch them for 2. And they're sitting, Sterling can compete with them in the quarterfinals. But I think it's Rose Pine. I think it's Rose Pines here in the bottom half, bro.
Yep. And Mr. Watts, we went over Ponchatoula a little bit earlier. You can scroll back and kind of look at that. But right now, Ponchatoula would actually have a road game. They'll have 2 home games and then a road game in the quarterfinals. But it's still way up in the air. They could get as high as a 4 seed. It could catch Zachary if Zachary doesn't win district, and they can get the PowerPoint. So Ponchatoula could be as low at, I don't think they go any lower than 6, but they could be 4, 5, or 6. So if you're 4, you get the quarterfinals at home. 5 and 6, quarterfinals on the road.
And it's Springfield at 6, right? Springfield at 6, not Sterling.
Oh, is that what happened? I messed that up.
Yeah, you got Sterling twice there, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yep.
Springfield at 6, and that goes well. That kind of maybe dispels, you could possibly have the Sterlington Rose Pine in the quarters, and then have Springfield versus one of them in the semis. So you know what I mean.
Springfield versus French Settlement is like a district game, parish game, quarterfinal matchup. That would be crazy, dude. If that's at
They're gonna shut
French Settlement, dude, it's gonna be pep rally,
shut the city down.
You know, they're gonna be parking at the elementary school across the street. That's gonna be a freaking amazing game, and whoever advances to the top 28, congratulations to them. But nobody's gonna leave out of that gym, upset. That's gonna be a great atmosphere, and that's what it's all about, man. That's gonna be some really good basketball. I did say that whenever Springfield, we actually live streamed that game. It was a third place game at the Paris tournament, so I did say it could be a possible quarterfinal matchup. So looking at it now, I mean, it's a district game as well. That'd be interesting. I think that'd be their third or fourth time playing each other. All the marbles.
All the marbles.
Let's see who else could be. I mean, Winfield is a dark horse too, man. Winfield could get past Patterson. French Settlement's young. That's a tough matchup for French Settlement. St. Helena, Richwood. I mean, but outside of that, I think it's just gonna be some really good quarterfinal games. Let's see.
And you mentioned Winfield, man. They gave Lakeview a run for their money the other night at Northwestern, man, and it was a good game. And like you said, they could make some run there.
Absolutely. We'll jump into the next division here, Division 3 on the select side. Union beat Carroll by 5. I guess that's 56-51. Yeah, that's a good game, man. That's a good game. And that goes back to what we said. Carroll can compete with anybody at the 13 seed, and that adds a little solidification to Union and where they are at. So that's definitely some good information there. So Union is for real. And like we said, Carroll to be able to compete with them, they are a dark horse there at that 13 seed. What you got, man? Top half of this bracket. I mean, interesting, man. Parkview had to lose in the Twins to still be at the 5 seed. That is very interesting. Who's some other teams that kind of stand out to you? This is more of my kind of area and my classification. Homer Christian. Coach Kathy Luke doing a great job. Has really built that program from the ground up. She's done that multiple times. Looks like she's doing it again. They're the 4 seed. So they got the best shot they've ever had to get to the top 28. Sacred Heart, man. Shout out to them. They're going to win the district. They'll probably jump up a little bit higher, but Sacred Heart could upset Homer Christian in the second round. Episcopal, they made to the top 28, lost a lot. So to see them in the top 10 is a great job over there. Holy Savior Menard, man. I think they're kind of the favorite here to come out of this side. I don't see anybody really giving them a huge fight to get to the top, to the finals, really. And then jumping to the bottom side, man, St. Thomas Aquinas, Newman, them being on the same side, it's tough for Newman. I think Newman is the overall favorite as long as they don't have to play St. Thomas Aquinas. I just don't like that matchup for them. I think Newman is the better team. I just think that's a bad matchup being St. Thomas Aquinas. It looks like they're going to be on a collision course nonetheless here in this division. Anybody else? You have any other thoughts on this one?
Nah, like I said, man, I think that top half was your neck of the woods, and I think it's just set up. I think in this one you'll see more of the higher seeds go chalk it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's basically going to boil down to St. Thomas Aquinas and Newman, and St. Thomas Aquinas isn't guaranteed to win their district either. So Homer Christian could win that district, and that could put St. Thomas Aquinas at the 4, with Homer Christian being the 3. I think Newman would love to see that. That would allow St. Thomas Aquinas to play Holy Savior Menard, and I'm not sure. I think that's a dogfight. And then Newman can kind of get into the state championship game where really anybody can win. So that'll be.
Listen,
ideal for them.
Exactly. I think that St. Thomas, Menard would not want to see St. Thomas Aquinas because that's a home game in Hammond for St. Thomas Aquinas, correct? So, now whoever don't want to see St. Thomas Aquinas, like I said, that's just a block away or whatever. So, that's going to be tough for whoever gets St. Thomas Aquinas there.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might ride their bicycle to the game. Is that
yeah,
close?
that's what I'm talking about, and it's going to be packed out. So that's a disadvantage of all disadvantages right there.
Absolutely, man. Jumping into Class B as well as Class C. Again, guys, I know we got a lot of smaller classification people who watch the stream. If you guys can kind of give us some input. I didn't really go too into detail who I thought would win these Class B and C, but you have any input you want to put into these? I mean, of course, Fairview down there, you can chalk them up for that point. Gibson Coleman, you think they're gonna win 1C, or what's your thoughts there?
Oh, okay, yeah. Gibson Coleman to win that district.
Okay, and then 2C. I don't know enough. Saline, maybe.
Yeah, man. Those are small as far as schools up here, and I hadn't been following them that closely to know who's gonna win that district. Probably take a look and get back.
Yeah, cool. 6C is gonna be Family Christian for sure. Let's see. Did we skip 1A? Did I skip 1A? Somebody said that I missed 1A.
Yeah, you skipped 1A.
Oh, did I not put it?
Yeah, you skipped it.
Oh, I put them out of order on my thing. Yep. Whoops. Appreciate that. We'll jump back to 1A then. 1A, again, this is your area. Arcadia's playing.
Arcadia.
Huh?
Really, man, I really love Arcadia. They are up and coming. They got like 8th and 9th graders, man. They're young and they're being built for the future, but they're looking real good right now. And Arcadia is, I don't think anybody will want to see Arcadia in this bracket.
That's awesome. Shout out to them, man. The program they're building over there. District 2 1A, I think we can agree. Ouachita Christian. 3 1A, Northwood Lena. 4 1A, I'm not sure. Delhi maybe. 5 1A is going to be interesting. You got Maryville, Oberlin, Hamilton Christian. I think really anybody.
We got Delta Charter. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Delta Charter in that 4 1A right now.
Okay, Delta Charter. Who else?
Yeah, Delta Charter. Yeah.
7 1A. Highland Baptist will likely win that one. 8 1A, White Castle.
Correct.
Let's see. 9 1A, Southern Lab, and then 10 1A.
Southern Lab
could be kind of anybody. So we'll go ahead and jump into these divisions. So Division 4 on the public school side of things. You got White Castle at the top, Lakeview at the bottom. I think Lakeview's still the favorite. They didn't have the best of showings against Winfield like we talked about, so I think they are beatable, but I think they're the most complete team in this division. So I think night in, night out, they'll be able to win some games. And like you said, like you saw, they were able to win a game not on their A game, which is always good when it comes time for the playoffs. Finding ways to win outside of having your A game. Lake Arthur, I like it. Lake Arthur still at the 9, not somebody I want to see. Oakdale is back playing well. They're climbing the rankings. They're up to 8th. Homer, man, I am surprised by Homer after seeing them at the beginning of the season, man. Shout out to them and what they've done to get them into the 5 seed. That is very impressive.
And I think Homer, and that's up in our area here. I think they did a good job scheduling. You know what I mean? did a good job scheduling, and it worked out for them, man. Hadn't played a real 17 games they have, but it's going to be interesting to see with them. Can they really make any noise when it gets to playoff time?
So, I mean, I think Oakdale is probably sleeper, I would say, at 8. Lake Arthur. Uh, those two teams, I think they could even upset White Castle, be in the top 28. I think that's two sleeper teams I would keep an eye on. I've been a fan of Oak Grove. They fell a little bit, but I still like them at the 6. They just have a great matchup there. Arcadia at the 3, man, they might even be the favorite. That's tougher. Arcadia versus Lakeview, top 28 semifinals. Who you got in that game, man? That's gonna be a fun one for sure.
Again, man, when you got the guard, it's speedy guard that Lakeview has in Washington, and then Arcadia's got the young guns, the 8th graders, the 9th graders. I'm not going to even begin to pick that game because that game is going to be a up and down, and it can come down to the buzzer there. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think White Castle is the favorite. I do believe they came into possible injury or something like that. So it's going to be a little more wide open than I think people think here in this division. But man, we're going to go ahead and jump on to the next division. I know it's already a little past 9 o'clock, so I don't want to take not as much as everyone's time with the LSU game, rocking and rolling, man. We wanted to finish that off, let everybody continue to enjoy that game. But jumping into the next division, Division 4, public school side of things, we've talked about it every time we've been on here. Southern Lab versus Northwood Lena. It looks like it's still going to be that. I still think, and I think we continue to say it, Highland Baptist is closing the gap a little bit. Washita Christian is not somebody I really want to see. I think they're going to be very well coached and have a great game plan in the semifinals. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, we continue to say it as you just hit on Northwood Lena, Southern Lab. You know what I mean? That's the race. But you've seen Hamilton Christian a lot. You've spoken a lot, so I wouldn't sleep on them. Maybe they can give Northwood Lena a run. They're in the semis and kind of make it interesting. Highland Baptist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point. Highland Baptist versus Hamilton Christian in the quarters is a great game.
Yeah. So and then that winner playing Northwood Lena in the semis. It could make it interesting. I think we found out last week it may not as be as wide open as we thought. And then that 3, 4, and 5 seed could probably have something to say. But I think if you ask me to put, and I'm not a betting man, but if you ask me to put money right now, I would say Northwood Lena versus Southern Lab in the finals.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, like you said, Hamilton Christian is probably that one team that can sneak up on somebody and win a road game in the quarterfinals. I mean, a lot of these are smaller schools, like Highland Baptist. They're going to have to get the fans are going to have to show up. Man, you're going to have to show up in the quarterfinals in order to give your team a bigger advantage, And that Northwood Lena is going to have everybody show up in the quarterfinals. Like Southern Lab, you're going to have some packed gyms to give your team the benefit of the doubt, especially on that select side in the quarterfinals. But we're going to skip over the district in the BC. Just, again, I did not realize how late it was. We'll go ahead and jump into Division 5 on the select side. We'll save one of my favorites for the last on the public school side. Man, J.S. Clark, they forfeited a game. I don't know if you saw that, but they forfeited what looked like their last game according to the Go Preps stuff on there versus Hathaway. So,
wow.
I don't know what's going on over there, but something to keep an eye on. And as they were a team that had an opportunity to really make a run, win this thing here in this division. I think with that being said, Oak Hill separates themselves a little bit.
Yeah, well, I know with J.S. Clark, I know in the end they did come down. They have a new coach now. The boys' coach is now their coach now, and so man, it's gonna be interesting, like you said. Oak Hill, that situation at Clark kind of opened the door for Oak Hill to, like you said, probably run away with this thing.
Yeah, and it's still, I like Family Christian. They have a guard and a forward, some experience as well. So if anybody can give Oak Hill a run for the money, and somebody that's already taken some hardware home with them, it'll be Family Christian. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. J.S. Clark might get it together. They still have the skill and the players and everything, they can overcome some adversity. Definitely will have a shot. But it looks like it's going to be those three teams: Family Christian, J.S. Clark, and Oak Hill. Let's see. Let's go ahead and jump into the. You want to go through the top half here? I'll go ahead and catch up on the comments here. Top half bracket, Division 5.
This is your division here, man. This is the one you've been raving about all year long, and it is, I think, by far the most stacked division of all of girls basketball in Louisiana. And any game that you can, it's going to be hard to pick out who's the favorite in every game because you have quarterfinal matchups in the first round. You get what I'm saying? So you got Fairview, Zawali. Anacoco's not going to be too bad there. Coach Vickers might be able to tell us who's going to win this division better than we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's Gibbs and Coleman at the 5. It's going to be interesting. Them and Reeves, who gets to play Fairview in the semis? Man, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as far as quote unquote dark horse, Anacoco is playing really good basketball right now. I like Anacoco as the 8. I could see them maybe jumping up to a 7, but when you're looking at the power rankings here, they're just these teams have played so many games and they're so far apart from each other. This is going to be a division where the seeding kind of is what it is. They're already playing 37 games. Like Fairview's played 37 games. They're going to have 4 more games, 5 more games. It's not going to make that big of a difference. So you kind of are where you are. The PowerPoint might help a little bit, but Anacoco at the 8 playing Fairview in the quarterfinals will be a great game. Gibson Coleman, they got a really good draw, man. I really like that draw that they got there. And matching up with Reeves in the quarterfinals. Like, granted, you got to go on the road, but I think that is a winnable game for them. Let's see. Looking at the bottom half, again, I still like Hicks. I think somebody kind of below said Hicks lost a game earlier, but I still like Hicks a little bit. Hathaway, of course. Who's some other teams, guys, that you guys think that are in like the Anacoco range, 8 or whatnot, that can make it to the top 28 here? What's your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, man. I seen Florine. They're decent, and I think we might not need to sleep on them. I don't double digits. I don't see it here. I think even though this is a stacked division, I still think it's going to come down to the Fairviews, the Gibbs and Coleman, the Hathaways, the top half of the top heavy part of this bracket. And it's going to be crazy come the first week of March in Hammond. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to see, where's Zawali at? Zawali at the 9 seed. Zawali's another one. Zawali, Anacoco. Whoever wins that game, 9-8 would give Fairview a tough run. If both of those teams could jump up to like the 7-6 spot, I would like them a little bit more where they're away from playing Fairview in the quarters. I think Zawali and Anacoco right now would be my 2 teams that are dark horses that could make it to the top 28. Of course, Hicks, 7 seed, top 28 potential. Really, you got 8 teams that can make it to the top 28 and could really compete.
And you only got 4 spots.
Yeah, for a state championship.
You only got 4 spots. Yeah.
Midland, man. I like Midland. Midland versus Hathaway at the Southeastern would be a fun one, man. That'd be a really fun one.
Man, it's kind of this division here. When we talk about this division for the next 2 weeks and then the 2 weeks of playoffs into to March, it's gonna be very, very interesting. And this is the division to watch. I think, like I said, when it comes down, I think being as stacked as you said, you got 9 teams that can vie for 4 spots. But only 4 teams can get in.
Yep.
But we'll go from there. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting with this division and to see who walks away in Hammond as the champion.
Yep, and just some big time matchups came through. Hicks plays Yanacoko this week, and I do know tomorrow night Midland plays Hathaway at Midland tomorrow. That's gonna be a great game. I think that could be a potential semifinal game. Whoever wins that game is gonna have a huge leg up confidence wise going into that semifinal game. So that's gonna be a fun one, man. That is gonna be a fun one. Definitely keep us updated on that game. So we got some good matchups, some good district good matchups to kind of keep an eye on. Again, guys, we really appreciate everybody for joining us. Apologize for being so late, but with the LSU game, and like I said, they broke the attendance record tonight. So shout out to the Lady Tigers, Coach Kim Mulkey, and their staff over there, and what they're getting out of this program. It's just really good for the flagship college to be at the top 3, top 2, whatever it is. So now they're on a collision course with South Carolina with another big time matchup here in a couple weeks. It's just really good, man. Really good to be a really big fan of Louisiana girls basketball. So we really appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. We'll be back on again next week. Keep an eye out on all these districts, guys, and let's keep talking about it. Who wins the points and whatnot from there. We only have 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left before the end of the season, and we're rocking and rolling into these playoffs, man. Coach Kendrick, man, you want to leave us with anything?
Man, just big shout out to girls basketball in Louisiana. Girls keep hooping. These next 2 weeks, as you said, it's going to be interesting. Coaches crunch your calculators in your PowerPoint paper, and getting interesting to see who's going to make their way to Hammond, man.
Yeah, and shout out to all the seniors, girls basketball players that are finishing up their career. 2 weeks left in your season. Really only 1 month left of basketball. So it's a very exciting time, like this comment here.
Correct.
Very exciting time for all these girls. So, guys, I know there's a lot of people watching that are big-time supporters of girls basketball. Get out here, get outside, go to as many games as you can, support these girls, help them continue to grow this platform and help them continue to shine, man. I saw a lot of big-time moments with Jada Richard, Michaela Williams, and it's just awesome to see where girls basketball is right now. So let's continue to support them. Last 2 weeks, a lot of these seniors, this is our last kind of month of basketball. Let's get out to some games, support them, let them know we love them, and until next time.